Can PS Audio ever make a full-range bookshelf speaker? Or for that matter, can anyone? This question comes to us from Woody in Hong Kong. Woody writes, "Hi Paul, I live in Hong Kong. I am a fan of yours." Thank you, Woody. "As you said before, you can make a better active speaker than a passive speaker. I understand you will prefer selling passive speakers, but can you make an active version of it? I've listened to some full-range bookshelf speakers like Genelec, Dutch & Dutch, K2 Audio, etc. Can PS Audio make full-range bookshelf speakers that have bass? Thanks." Yes, we can. And I have my hand on one. I'm going to show it to you. But I wanted to tell you just a real quick story. First off, the name Woody doesn't fit Hong Kong, right? I mean, you think of different names when you think of Hong Kong, but which reminds me, I used to be Woody. And years ago when I was in radio, I was really broke. And if you've read my book, 99% True, this is part of the part that was absolutely true. You'll know that Terry and I struggled when I was a disc jockey, and it's hard making a living as a disc jockey. And I was a rock and roll DJ, and I loved rock and roll, and I was a program director and did all this stuff. But to make more money, I was offered, like, you want to keep your job and make money, you're going to become a country and western DJ playing, and I love country, good country. I don't like bubblegum country. We'll get into, I mean, just, ridiculous top 40 country to me is like ridiculous. I don't like it. And I was embarrassed. And so I didn't want Paul McGowan name. I didn't want that name out there and associated with country and western. So I had to come up with something. I had like an hour to come up with it. And years ago, I had the same problem. My stage name was Christopher Robin because I was appealing to 11-year-old girls in Columbus, Ohio. Now I'm appealing to country folk in Santa Maria, California. So I thought, Woody, that's it. Woody, that's a good old country name. And so my name was Woody Short. I'm not sure where the short came from, but for years, and there's some great stories. I tell one in the book about almost starting a riot in the town. But that's a whole nother story. Okay, bookshelf speakers that are full range, and yes, it can be done. I'm learning so much about speakers from our speaker guru, Chris Brunhaver. So I'm used to small box speakers with little woofers. Like this is, what is this, a 6.5-inch woofer? I think it's a 6 or something. So this woofer, it's a long throw, cool woofer. It probably isn't the one we're going to use. But this can go down to, 60 hertz, 55 hertz. I mean, it'll sound like it has bass, but it doesn't really have low bass. Like one of the tracks we use is Boss Skaggs. And what's the track? It's Thanks to You. So in Thanks to You, there is this great instrument. It's a synth, some kind of keyboard synth. And the bass line in it is boom, boom, boom. And there's one note, and you'll know it if you ever listen to that he hits, that most systems don't reproduce, which is why I always talk about having subwoofers. So Chris said, you want to see a passive, not an active, a passive bookshelf speaker hit that note? And I said, yeah, right, let's see it. And he played that for me, and damn if it didn't hit that note. This speaker right here hit that note. I said, holy crap, Chris, how'd you do that? You want to know the secret? Look at here. Ohm's Law listeners, I'm looking at, what is that, is that a foot? Maybe that's 12 inches tall, maybe that's 8 inches wide, tweeter and a woofer, a little 6.5. And this speaker goes down to 30 hertz. How does it do that? Well, look on the back. Now, for Ohm's Law listeners, we are looking at a passive radiator. This is almost the entire length of the speaker. So this thing is an easy 10, 11 inches tall. I'm not very good with is there a measurement? Oh, doesn't matter. It's the entire back of the speaker is a radiator. And Chris knows how to tune these things. So a passive radiator, see this surround? It looks like a speaker. It's oval. This particular one looks like an oval driver. There's no motor on it. So it's kind of like a tuned port, but this membrane here at 30 hertz, this sucker is just going back and forth and cranking out the sound. So here's a bookshelf speaker that can do 30 hertz using a passive radiator. And we will be learning more about passive radiators properly designed by Chris Brunhaber. As I told you, he's going to start his own series, so we'll get more into that. But yeah, Woody. We can and will have a pair of bookshelf speakers that are going to kick ass and play loud and go down to 30 hertz. And I don't know, they'll probably be $1,000. You know, that's $500 for the speaker is going to be pretty good each. But okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow.